Right, let's hear from Thomas Tuchel. He sat down with England correspondent Faye Crothers earlier today, asked what Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers bring to the England team.
They're just top football players, both of them. Morgan is a bit more vertical than Jude in his game, but both of them are fantastic players. Morgan, key player for Aston Villa, got a European title, played 5,000 minutes, I think. Is a proper machine, and is non-stop available and getting better and better. We could feel in the first days of camp that Morgan needs a bit of time to restart the engine. But he got stronger and stronger in the last 2 training sessions. Jude, after his injury, trains with a lot of joy, played with a lot of joy. He's just happy to be back on the pitch, which is not a surprise, and is actually something we can use because he hasn't played so many minutes. Comes back from injury, so he's in a sweet spot at the moment. They give us very different things, but both of them give us a lot of quality. They both give us physicality, and they can also play together, but it's also nice to have one of them finishing a match when things get hot, when opponents get tired. To have one of these guys with other guys coming from the bench can be a huge asset through the tournament.
Yeah, I can see that completely. With that in mind, you mentioned the minutes there. As you said, Morgan's played over 5,000 minutes, and because of Jude's injury, I think he's played just over half that. Yeah. So does that play into your thinking at all?
Yeah, of course, and we can just see it, and hopefully we will like the tournament is a long tournament. It's one more game per se, and then it's hot, it's humid. Maybe we have to deal with altitude, and hopefully we enter the stages where where it's possibility to play 120 minutes. We need to think also about what is the team that should finish matches, what is the team that finishes matches off and gives problems, creates problems from the bench, that will just buy into all our decisions, and the players know that there will be no big deal around within the group. But of course, I know that some positions we have just a lot of quality. Don't forget, we have also Epps on the number 10. He plays for Arsenal very regularly on the right 10. So big players, big personalities, and we need it.
Thomas Tuchel there speaking about Bellingham and Morgan was actually really interesting.
Do you like Tuchel?
What do you mean?
Do you like the way he speaks, the way he presents himself?
Yeah, why?
Yeah, I know. I just wonder what the listeners think. I obviously love him because of what he's done at Chelsea, but I think he's no nonsense. He doesn't pander to the crowd. He does what he's going to do. He gets on with what he's going to go and do. And I know he's upset a few people with some of the team selection. I get that, but here's my team. Here's my squad. And I think he explained that Morgan Rogers, Bellingham kind of duo.
Well, what that said to me, basically what he was saying there, is that Bellingham starting the first game.
But also what he said is that Rogers has a role to play. And this is what you and I have been saying this week, is that the first 11 is one thing. The bench could win you a game. In fact, more often than not during a tournament like this, the bench probably gets you into a situation either you can win it or secure it.
Well, Ollie Watkins come on and the semi-final scored, didn't he?
Palmer off the bench and scored.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, of course, the bench is huge. But it was really interesting to get that was a good insight into what he's thinking, because he's obviously looking at the whole season as a whole. Morgan Rogers has played a lot of football, right? Yep. He's played an incredible amount. He's played at a high tempo, and he said, look, he turned up and he's maybe a bit tired. Bellingham's come back from injury. He's fresh. He's ready to go. So that says to me that Bellingham starts. Against Croatia,
I think Bellingham does start, even before I heard that. But I agree with you. I agree. I think that does confirm. But you never, but like you said and alluded to, whoever starts, whoever's on the bench, will have a role to play almost certainly at some stage. And I think that's important that we all remember that. Saka might start. We might find that Nelawaki comes off the bench. Rashford, Gordon.
Is there a player that's not one of the main dogs right now that we're all talking about that you think can make a big impact on the tournament for England?
Oh, what a good question that is. I mean, Jed Spence springs to mind after what he did the other night.
He's good in midfield. Centre of the park, mate. He's all right.
I think there's going to be a lot of roles to play. I think there's going to be a lot, in particular in that front 3, 4, 5 areas. I think there will be. I think what we'll see, I think it's Anderson and Rice. I think they're the two. Win the first 2 games, they should get rotated. I think that's where, the right. So Kobe Mainoo's still got over. It's impossible.
Kobe Mainoo's done really well for Man United at the end of the season.
He has,
really
and it's going to be a squad game. There's going to be what we see in the first game, and this is such a truism. The first game of the tournament, if you look at the starting 11 of any team and the last game they play, it's not the same team. There will be tweaks. There'll be players that play themselves in and players that play themselves out of the team.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
There are mainstays, right? There are Pickford, right down the spine. Pickford, Gehi, Rice, Kane.
Yeah.
Right? Other than that, Reece James maybe. Other than that,
Reece James has got to stay fit.
Reece James got to stay. I think there's probably positions up for grabs, or through certain periods of the tournament and certain games, I think we'll see a lot of change. And hopefully, certainly Rice gets a rest. Kane will need a rest at some point. Hopefully, he doesn't play in that final game against Panama.
Well, let's hope not. Hopefully, we've got 6 points and we can just chill.
Exactly.
We'll cruise through and Kane can have a rest. That's what you want, right?
Of course.
All right, keep your calls coming in. You want to have a chat on that? At 11 o'clock tonight, we're doing a sports bar 11. Animal 11, isn't it? I think, Jace, what we're doing?
We're gonna do a World Cup Animal 11. You can only put an animal in from a country that's at the World Cup, but you can't put 2 animals in. For example, you can't have a koala and a kangaroo playing the same team.
Right.
They're indigenous from Australia.
Right. So, okay, I hear you. I like it. We're going to do that at 11. Up next, we're going to be joining the studio, Psychic, Clinton Baptiste, as he gives us all his predictions for the World Cup this summer.